Hey guys, it's me, Tiffany, and welcome back to my channel. So, I wanted to do another Handmaid's Tale episode, thoughts, reactions, whatever. The first one I did, the first 3 episodes dropped out together, so I was able to watch them back to back and then just talk. This one's a little different because there are going to be 10 episodes and there's only one a week. So, either this episode or the next episode is going to have to be 4 episodes. Or I could do 3 of each and then do the finale and the review by itself and just have 2 weeks of The Handmaid's Tale back to back. I haven't decided. This one's only going to be 3 episodes, so I've got to decide if the next one's going to be 4 or I'm going to do the finale thing by itself. It just depends on how the episodes play out, and I am watching these weekly, so episodes 4 and 5, I did have time to marinate and think about things. But I did just watch episode 6. All of it's fresh in my mind. I have not thought about much, so... And it's going to be a spoiler for everything up to this point. So if some reason you're watching this without seeing anything, I guess go away or don't complain about spoilers. And I'm not going to distinguish which episode is which for the most part, because this is just my thoughts, and this is unscripted. So here we go. I thought the milk tank thing when June and Janine escaped was so strange. I did not think that was going to work. I really thought they were going to get caught, or I didn't know anything about the transports with gas and stuff, and I guess it makes sense that there would be a funnel to get the stuff out instead of just at the top. But if you would have asked me, I would have thought you would only been able to get that from the outside. And, that's what surprised me. I don't know if that's how they really are, I'm assuming. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wrote the episode the way they wrote it. But I thought that was neat. And I liked that how Janine, in the 2 episodes before, episodes 4 and 5, she's combating June. At this point, she's been very childlike, just going her best by the rules, except for when it came to baby Angela. She kind of wanted to fight back a little bit because she felt that was her baby, which it is. It is her child. But with June, she's just always just been kind of just playing along. But with the other handmaids that died, she's well, I can finally speak out now. And I really think that her childlike behavior was just a defense mechanism within Gilead and with Aunt Lydia. Maybe her mind just went straight to that as a defense mechanism. And she does, still want approval from June and stuff, which is why she said, handmaids always walk together. I don't think she's completely stripped of that mindset because you just can't jump back and forth after you've been somewhere for a couple of years, instantly overnight. And I think it is more than a couple of years, but that's beside the point. And I like that we saw Janine's choice about her second child before Gilead happened. And I like that we saw a lot of the propaganda and the doctor being truthful. I like that because in this world where a lot of women have fertility issues, I could definitely see them pushing even harder than they do now to force these women to keep the child, especially, with a child shortage. But she still knew what was best for her and Caleb. She really couldn't afford it. And in real life, a lot of those type of decisions are made by women who were already mothers. So I like that. I like that. I like that segment a lot. And it wasn't easy. She knew what she had to do, but she was still seemed a little hesitant, but the doctor reassured her, and I'm glad that she got a good doctor. I didn't like the dude who was basically using Janine. I'm pretty sure Janine knew she was being used. I know she made those choices on her own, but June and even some other people saw her because of her mind, her mindset of being more childlike, that maybe she didn't realize what she was doing. But I think she realized what she was doing for the most part. But it's just a defense mechanism. And she hasn't completely stepped out of Gilead. But Like, because, even with Rita and her, like, it was a victory of her just eating her sushi. Like, if you've been trapped somewhere for such a long time, you can't just snap out of it, like, instantly, right? But I think Janine knew more of what she was doing, and she just like, well, this is a means to an ends, and, that's just how that played out. So, with the bombing, I was kind of worried anyways, because Janine was being too much of a voice of reason, and in most shows that are not afraid to kill main characters, you even see this with, like, The Walking Dead. Like, sometimes if they start back-talking the main character too much, or too much being the voice of reason, it seems like something tends to happen. And I was kind of nervous about, like, I don't like that we don't see what happens to Janine, and that's going to be a question until it's answered. I know this is probably not a hot take. I haven't really watched how other people felt yet, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very common thing about, well, we need to know what happens to Janine. If Janine's not dead, she better be severely injured. Like, that's the only way I'll accept it. Like, it could be possible that she survived because she was basically beside June and June survived. But I wouldn't be surprised if Janine was in the rubble beside June or really injured, like maybe even crippled, like something drastic needs to happen. And when we see Janine again, I want to see her in a better place than she has been at any of the time since Gilead started. Maybe not be a leader like June, but have some kind of super significant role and not just fall into being, into her defense mechanism of just being like, just with some guy who rules everything else, unless she's like behind the scenes. That's the only way, like, I can truly accept it, but it would annoy me that they went through all of that just to kill her, because even if, like, June left her completely, we would have assumed that she just died at that shelter facility that they were at. But I really did think something was up when Janine gave June the hat. So, I was expecting something, but I wasn't sure what. I knew, like, a bombing, like, because, earlier in the episode they talked about the bombing. And I just think that, I know politicians are politicians, but I'm just like, really, right before the ceasefire? But, that's very realistic, but it doesn't mean you don't get angry, right? And at first, I was really annoyed at seeing Mora, because, it ended right there, and then I was thinking, like, before this episode, maybe it was a hallucination, like, especially since this episode started off with, like, flashbacks to the past. I was thinking, maybe Mora is just a hallucination, and then I was like, okay. But then I realized Mora was actually there, and that kind of annoyed me. Like, I know Mora's trying to help people, and it is nice to see a full circle, because June got Mora out, and now Mora got June out, and June was going to have to leave Gilead at some point. There was no way she was going to survive the entire time, unless they planned on killing her and making her a martyr. Then I would have actually been fine with that decision as long as they did it in a way that felt authentic to June. Like, not something just randomly getting caught, but maybe she sacrificed herself or what have you. But it did kind of, I was like, out of all the people to find June, Mora, but if anybody else found her, unless it was Luke, because, Rita wouldn't have been there. And there might have been some other people she known in real life, but we haven't seen them. So it was going to have to be Mora or Luke. So I was just like, I guess it makes sense because nobody else would have really recognized her. Because Mora has seen her basically for years and years and years. So she knows every state, like, right, of her life, instead of just like a picture or the video of when she was with Offred in the Waterfords when they're talking about bring back Nicole. So, I get it. And I'm glad June's out. I didn't think the boat thing was really like that bad. I was annoyed at how quick everybody was to turn on June. But as soon as like they started looking at June's face, I'm like, she's going to give herself up. She's going to give herself up. That's what she always does. And I'm glad it did not work this time because they would have to kill her. Or this story would just be way too far-fetched to make any sense at all, It just would not make sense if she just stayed in Gilead, kept getting turned in. Because she probably would have gone straight to Aunt Lydia and she was going to die. Like, there'd been no way. Like, especially when they were going to give her a second chance at the farm thing, and basically everybody got killed off, you know, like, Jean was going to have to die if she stayed in Gilead. And apparently there's going to be some more seasons, and the Testaments is going to be a show. I really think Handmaid's Tale and the Testament should be one show, and maybe it leads up to that. But it's going to have to change from June, because we're going to have to still see things that are going on in Gilead, and I guess that's going to be with Aunt Lydia and just the other commanders and stuff. But I feel like we're going to take, like, another Handmaid and just see things. And I don't want to spoil, like, the Testaments, but if you haven't read the Testaments and you care about spoilers, I'm going to put, like, the time somewhere over here to tell you when to skip, just so, you know, you can just skip the part of the conversation. But Hannah, like, it goes with Hannah, Nicole, and Aunt Lydia. So Aunt Lydia is not going to die unless they're just going to completely change it from the book, which wouldn't be the end of the world, because The Handmaid's Tale is really different than the original book, but it was set a long time ago and they've made it more, like, modern. But I think the Testaments is going to probably be pretty similar to the book. And Hannah is still in Gilead and escapes from Gilead. Nicole is in, like, Canada, so I don't think Hannah's going to be getting out of the show, but I wouldn't be against them, like, teetering back and forth between Hannah's life and then, like, if they do, like, time skips, going back and forth and just leading into the Testaments, like, before the story even takes place. And then Aunt Lydia, I think, is going to be even more important, even though she makes us mad. And I really think that's how it's going to go, because June and Luke and not even Mora are in the Testaments. It doesn't say what happened to them. Nicole knows that her parents were, like, revolutionaries, but she didn't even know she was baby Nicole. So I think something's going to happen to June, Luke, or whatever. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be witness protection or what, because I don't know how the show's going to do it. I know what happens in the book, but, like, that's basically where the Testaments start off at. So I'm wondering how the show's going to go, because the show is way past the book. And, yeah, so as I said, like, even the original book is really different. So I don't know how the show's going to do this. I think it's really weird to just make a whole new show, but unless they just want a title change, I guess. But I feel like The Handmaid's Tale is getting so many seasons to lead up to that because of the time. So, yeah. Anyways, that was a little long on the book thing. But yeah, I'm ready to see what happens. I want to see the Waterford's trial so bad, because, you know, now we're definitely going to spend more time in Canada. And I am ready for Serena to get her just desserts. She may not be as bad as Fred, but she is still horrible. She, as I mentioned in the last episode, I hope she gets her baby taken away from her. And I don't want this child to have a hard life, but with the way Fred and Serena are, they do not need to raise a child. I'm sure it would be different in Canada than it would be in Gilead, but no, they don't need a child. And I'm ready to see how this plays out when Fred's like, oh, wait, she's pregnant. And I don't know how she thought she was going to hide it, because how long was this trial going to last? If she was not going to testify against Fred? Like, I don't know what her mindset was, but at some point it was going to come out, unless some reason it's revealed to not be Fred's baby, but is going to be Fred's baby. I'm pretty sure they had some fun when they were on that road trip or a little before that. So, yeah, I'm ready for them to see their just desserts. I'm ready to see the fallout with Mora. And I'm ready to see how June readjusts, because she's been in a fight stage, right? Survival. And I know she's going to try to be in the resistance. She's going to try to volunteer. She's going to be like, let me fight and let me go back. And it's going to be like, June, you are too wanted to ever walk back into Gilead. Even if you wanted to, like, join the military and be a soldier, That's just not going to happen. They're not going to allow you because you are too much of a threat. They are going to target whatever team you're on if they know you're there. I'm wondering if they're going to put June on TV and be like, give me back Hannah. But then I could see Gilead being like, well, you have Nicole, but Hannah doesn't even recognize June anymore. So I'm pretty sure she wouldn't recognize Luke. She's not going to recognize Maura. So, I'm wondering how that's going to play out, if they're going to put her on TV or if they're just going to tell her, hey, don't make a fuss for us. Don't get on social media, which, people in Gilead probably wouldn't see it, but maybe the commanders would because they do have internet. So I'm ready to see June kind of get put in her place, but she's finally allowed to have freedom. She's finally allowed to relax, but she's not going to relax. That's not June's character. So guys, that is all I got to say. Thank you for letting me ramble about this show. I love this show so much. It is hard to watch, and I did cry so hard in this last episode. And I'm glad I don't record my reactions because I ugly cried. And yeah, this show is so good. So if you like this show too, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree or disagree with anything, let me know that too. And we can have a friendly discussion. And I will see you next time when I make a decision on how I'm going to do the next episode. Later.